Welcome to the live stream, guys. We've got some deep dive information to share about how we ended up crushing all the meme coin hype. Everybody's been running around online going, yes, we've got to get into the meme coins. Once we have the meme coins, we will crush everybody. But from utilizing some tactics that have basically been forgotten across all of crypto that we're going to bring directly into the light right now, we will see why the art of gem hunting has been replaced by meme coins. And the reason is everybody's getting it wrong. We're not talking about human error, making a mistake, getting off the mark. These guys are missing completely. And we're going to explain in detail why. And what it all comes down to is the generation of zero finance money.
Read Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Every battle is won before it's ever fought. Think about it.
Inside The Art of War, it says to know your terrain and position yourself strategically will give you an advantage while capitalizing on your enemy's weakness. And this is exactly what we've been doing inside VIP. And the precise reason why nobody else even gem hunts anymore. And what they're doing now is they're starting to do deep dives into meme coins, which are nothing more than a website, a Twitter account, and a JPEG. Very suspect research, if you ask me personally. Now, there can be a lot of capital into the meme coins. Yes. To hit one of the top ones, of course, you've got to have a basket of at least a half a dozen. And this dilutes our capital. We've got to think forward past the TikTok generation that's only seeing the gains right in front of their face. They're like, meme coin go up, me go all in. Let's think about when you start taking your chips down off the rack. Meme coins gains are extremely fleeting. They create large candles to the upside and they sell off 3 times as fast. And meanwhile, all we're doing is getting one of our basket of 6 inside. This is the top 100 over the past 30 days. Why are the past 30 days so important? Because the FOMC just released its new monetary policy. And this is part of the reason why nobody can gem hunt. Everybody's been failing is because the last crypto cycle, they had the event of free money. The money printers were on. The interest rates were at 0. Therefore, everybody started creating catalysts that are secondary, that aren't the #1 driving force. Knowing this, we were the only VIP group that successfully shorted Caspa. And we have massive information. There's going to be an enormous data drop happening very soon. We've been working hand in hand with the KII. They're giving to us the Gigawatt white paper, which ties directly into some of the workings that Brics Nation is doing right now. As they're moving away from the petrodollar, they've got to find a new way to calculate the value of money. Because once it's no longer backed by USD, it's backed by what? Gold? No. They're going to start backing it by energy, by oil, or in Gigawatt's case, the gigawatt per hour. It's actually a metric connecting the value to electricity. And you can see this document here is talking about how XRP, which is ISO 222 compliant, their stablecoin might be affiliated with Brics, but we already know with the KII's connection to the Middle East, with Paul Vincent's connection into the energy trading sector, he invented that market. Obviously, it's going to be Caspa in the Gigawatt stablecoin. So we're going to be breaking this news very soon. This is the top 100 performing projects. Out of these top ones, we have a list of 8 inside VIP. 5 of them are in the top 120 out of a total of 10,000 possible picks. And here's the thing. The majority of these are these goofy meme coins. And in order to hit one, you've got to get a bag of 6. Taking a look at the DEAI chart, 01 Labs. The last time we posted about this, it was getting a new listing down at 17 cents. That would be equivalent to buying Caspa at the bottom of last summer's cup. You would have the same gains on board right now in DEAI. And these are real projects that are about to start rocketing to the upside. And that's what we're going to take a look at today, is why this sector is running right now and how to gem hunt effectively. Because everybody's lost the art. Resorting to JPEGs, we're supposed to be investors here. We're supposed to find some sort of an angle on the market. I mean, yeah, meme coins are fun, and it's definitely going to be exciting when your bag is exploding to the upside, seeing some gains. But here's the catch. Realizing those gains is another thing. So I don't care about the good time personally. What I want to do is get huge bags of artificial intelligence projects. And we're looking at a screenshot that's just showing across the world. AI is where it's at. AI is the fastest growing sector in all of business and commerce. The way this FOMC meeting ties into the artificial intelligence sector is very easy. Powell could have went up and he could have said a numerous amount of things. He could have said, well, we're only going to cut rates by 25 points, and then we're going to stop cutting right there. But that's not what he says. What he says is we're going to hack the rates way down. And we're going to continue a rate cut cycle into potentially Q1 of 2025. Looking right here, these are the numbers that changed. This was their prior projections of the federal rate cut. And for those of you who are new viewers, we're going to show you how important this is, why everybody's been getting riggedy wrecked with their gem hunting. Remember, it was 400 days ago, everybody was trying to gem hunt for GameFi? That was a fundamentally ridiculous idea once you start incorporating bond rates and realizing the phases of the bull market. This money is going to change hand from the investment banking class. We start each video with a poker table because this, just like poker, is a zero-sum game. This money isn't growing off trees. The miners aren't necessarily printing the money. This is all coming from somebody somewhere down the line. So their L's are our W's. It's a zero-sum game. Never forget that. Once we've established we're at a poker table, what's the next step? We've got to spot who the players are. The Federal Reserve and the investment banking class work hand in hand. They're the biggest players at this table with the biggest stack of chips. Another very crucial player at this table are the teams. And all of social media just completely turned a blind eye to every single KRC20 meme coin team. As soon as they get their hands on your Caspa, the word minting is very elusive. When you mint something, you just bought it. So now there's some random coder in Silicon Valley, doesn't even own a single crypto. He just builds on chain. He used to build on Solana. Now he's building on Caspa. He makes these meme coins, launches them. You give him your Caspa and they're having a fire sale. This entire downside in all of the bearish effect began exactly when they started the meme coin minting. And this is what's causing it. 1000%. We predicted this inside VIP months ahead of time, like literally 30 days ahead of time. We were like, these are some of the later predictions. We had it all the way back here. We're like, no way. This is bearish. Those teams are going to dump because we're playing poker at the table. And we use this same type of adaptation to solve where the massive gainers are going to be. Starting with sectors. Right now, it's artificial intelligence and DeFi new listings that have been rocketing to the upside. Taking a look at the total three, right around here at the tail end of this massive spike to the upside. Were any of you guys trading back then? You remember all the new listings that were coming down the line? Any project with the word AI inside the narrative would instantly double up within the first like 48 hours of being listed. We nabbed this Alex Becker pick inside VIP 24 hours before Alex Becker called it out using our new listing technique. This is just showing how strong the AI narrative was. Getting ready for the shift in financial macroeconomics, what they just created with these numbers here, what we're looking at with these reduced federal funds rate is a prolonged distribution phase. The Fed could have completely reshaped the bull market on September 18th, and they still can. They could have jumped right up and they could have said, we're going to actually create a blow off top. We're only going to cut rates by 25 points. And then towards the end of 2025, we're going to start hiking rates way back up. That would be structuring a blow off top. AI and DeFi would go down the tubes. Guess what would have started rocketing even harder? Your layer ones. Your Bitcoin would have had massive dominance, and we're going to see why here. Just a quick refresher for everybody who's been watching the live streams. We'll get everybody in tune with Satoshi's secret 60-second breakdown. February 20th, such an important day, aligning with this generation that knows zero finance. This is why they can't gem hunt. This is their biggest issue in cryptocurrency, is they're not using macroeconomics. Turn on anybody on stock YouTube. This isn't some nuanced secret that I've found because I'm a genius. I'm a day trader from stocks. This is like lesson number one. If this was a karate class, it would be like a snap kick to the balls. You gotta know this stuff. February 20th, look at what they do to the rates. They hack it down. So this is where all the money's in. It's in bonds. The government's playing monopoly. They're printing fake money, and they're just going to hold it all to affect inflation. They're like, yeah, all that money's printed, but it doesn't matter. We're holding all of it in the banker box, and we're just going to pay these investment bankers yield. Eventually, when they're holding so much of it, the economy starts to suffer, jobs, things along this lines, and now they start stimulating the economy. By lowering the amount they're going to offer in yield, they're signaling to their poker-playing teammates, the central banks, and just to show you how epically hand-in-hand we will, I'll give you another insight into that in a moment. Let's stay on course here. February 20th. That was the one-year treasury bond. Look at that. 1 year later, rocketing. We can actually jump right over to the stock market. Everybody thinks, well, oh, dude, that's from the Bitcoin halving. No. This is Tesla. Tesla ran up 10 days next to Bitcoin. GameStop, which I traded personally, which is where I started getting more insight into the bond market right from Roaring Kitty's mouth. He trained me in this inside his VIP. Right now, I'm leading you guys breadcrumbs into the most profitable VIP. Over the past 30 days, all the projects on our radar, all the projects that we detailed, vetted, they're crushing the meme coins. And as the bull run continues to unfold, the reason why these projects are so good is we vetted them so this bond money, Satoshi's secrets, goes right into our projects, right into our hands. So you can see that the Tesla, the bonds, everything coming up on February 20th. Look at the altcoin market. And this is why AI and DeFi is pumping so hard right now. February 20th. Altcoins need a distribution phase. Wham. And now they have it. Parallel AI, PAI. Let's take a look. Here we go. All right, so we're on Ethereum, standard issue. It's on 100 watch list. That's not bad. Nice market cap. It's low. For the market cap, the volume isn't too bad. One of the things that I'm a massive stickler of is uber low volume, but this volume isn't bad, and it seems to have been picking up recently. How long has this been listed? This is a new listing. I'm taking it. Wow. Let's see what their use case is. Parallel AI is a computing platform designed to optimize and accelerate complex computational tasks by utilizing advanced parallel processing techniques. It enables efficient executions across multiple processing units, significantly enhancing. So this is like a layer 2 type of, where did it go? This is like a whole layer 2 within itself, cloud service. Let's take a look at the vesting. Let's see if we can get it on Chain Broker. This is a tool that provides excellent information for projects if they have it registered on there. PAI. No, they don't. Let's take a look at the website. Unleashing the power of parallel processing. Okay. I get what's going on here. So what we've got here is a version of a cache or a Clore AI. And I'm going to bring up the document that you already have your hands on, Beebs, but I want you to take a deeper look at. And I'll actually just clip this right into the chat for you guys. This article, you've actually got to click download once you get it, but this is a legit download. It's not like a virus that's going to take over your computer. So what this is showing us is the state of DePIN, which is exactly what your projects, and we've actually got it loaded up right here. So with all of these cloud computing, these microprocessors, they're looking to hit the jackpot, and there is a massive scenario for this to run hard. If they can suddenly start parallel processing data faster than another chain. An example is a cache. When a cache finally rocketed up and had that massive upside, it was all caused by the fact that they were doing arbitrage computing. So you could actually mine this other project, Zeph, with a cache, and then therefore caused massive upside. So what these guys are trying to do is come out with a faster, better technology that's going to allow them some type of an arbitrage effect. It's also playing into the entire Aether concept. These guys are a beast because we're talking about GPU and cloud service. Aether's the largest cloud of all of them. And we have a 24-point report in VIP that's covering Aether, going into the details. And listen, before you guys jump into VIP, you want to start to become a master of gem hunting. This isn't going to be an easy course. This takes time. It's not for everybody. You've got to break down. This is just on DEAI. It's like 9 pages long, plus links. In order to master, let's say, the artificial intelligence, or Beebs, in your case, the DePIN sector, vet out a full 24-point report on this project, PAI, and then put it side by side with your report on Clore AI and a cache, and start seeing where the strengths and the weaknesses are. This 24-point system will unlock every single hidden detail. People are always trying to vet projects off in your head. Well, that's your first mistake, man. You can't even open a McDonald's off the top of your head. You're going to forget to put the quarters in the till. You're going to forget to check the temperature, right? You've got to make sure you have everything written down. And then you'll be able to step up and start crushing it. Yeah, so I think with that project, it has potential. And some of this upside and future upside indefinitely will be linked to more of this arbitrage type of thing. As they're clouding, that becomes an automatic business partnership of sort. like we showed with a cash. And you can read over this to get some more insight into deeper dive research on this. Artificial intelligence, this is your assistant, hand in hand, working with them, combing through them. We've got all the points that you really need to hit home runs right here. Again, looking at the top projects, we had a watch list of 8, 5 of them are in the top 120. Since the FOMC meeting, that tells us that these insiders got this data and they're just loading up. And we know what to look for inside here. It takes time. It's not fun. It's above the shoulders, mustardy, academic type of stuff. You're reading through stale documents about numbers. It's like that. But if you want to take that leap, we got the best guide that can show you how to do it. Hands down. And obviously there's copy trading with it, but it's why we're doing the trade that's important. So we've got another project here. AI, more artificial intelligence, which is great because this is the right sector. This is the sector that right now is going to start seeing upside. We now have confirmation of the distribution phase. So that's why all the DeFi like Moonwell and that other one that starts with the letter K that just runs on Solana, that's why these guys are leading the pack right now. It's because the distribution channel is on. That's how Tau jumped back up so fast. This looks like an Oracle type of thing. Cryptify AI is a platform focused on AI-driven influencer marketing, specifically tailored for Web 2 and Web 3. It provides businesses with detailed insight on key opinion leaders, analyzing their impact on social media and on-chain activities. This is a very popular narrative. As we start to, is this even listed yet or is this up and coming? Oh, this is in the market now. So this one's dropped early. Ooh, look at this. Super low. This is actually a nice score, man. This is a good find. So we're already on MEXC. Do we have any VCs here? No. There's only 30 people on the watch list. Let's see what's on this website. This is one of the uses of artificial intelligence. As we're going through these documents here, they'll show us, well, what's going to be going on with AI? Like what are the actual use cases? What's it going to be used for? One of them, healthcare. And one of the other leading models, as we go through the IDO and ICO section, just to put this one in perspective, let's go ahead and change the filters and put this to, yeah, it's on artificial intelligence already. As we start scrolling through these, GPT-360 has the exact, of almost very similar, identical narrative. Yeah. GPT-360 is built upon cutting-edge AI technology that offers a suite of features to empower marketers. So what they're doing with AI, and as you start combing through all these IDOs and ICOs and new listings as you have, you'll see that this is an ongoing narrative. They're looking for the projects that will best, they're building projects, excuse me, that will hook up to Twitter, hook up to social media, and just create more content, make better content, use artificial intelligence to harness the power of social media. So before I went gung-ho on that project, I would get back into this IDO and ICOs and start with GPT-360. And then there's a couple of other ones in here as well. This is one that's doing the medical center. As we saw in that last clip, Yeah, they're empowering doctors and whatnot. So you click on this and it's AI in hospitals, which is akin to what we just saw in this article, AI in healthcare. But AI and social media, it's definitely a narrative. So what I would do with this before you get gung-ho about it, you've got to look into all the details. The team, where they used to do business. We got them all listed right here, and it goes deep. And just when you think, well, you're looking over all this stuff, you'll never know when it's going to come in handy. I'll give you an example. Remember when the Bank of Japan carry trade went down? Because we had looked over every single detail, we were able to know to a certainty that this one fire right here, this is based in Japan. So once we realized that that downside was from the Bank of Japan, we're like, dude, this is going to crash and it's going to bounce right back up, because that's step number 15. Connect it to its global market, because crypto's worldwide. When you're in the United States, you have a whole different level of competitors. That's just another detail that you can add onto your research with CRAI. Seeing where they are in the globe and then what's going on in those markets in the globe. You see what I'm saying? And you can just use AI to just run you right through this, bringing it all to the surface. But hands down, you want to compare that with GPT 360. This one's already on the radar inside VIP. We had it under new listings of stuff that's up and coming. So this one has popularity with it. And you can see that right over here. This is their Twitter score, how popular they are. That's also something that we check for, as you know. We just did a detailed price model on Caspa right now to get you guys. I know everybody's feeling nervous right now, but it's going to be okay. We've always been projecting that it was going to come right back down to this 12.5 level. And what we're doing is we're following down the x-axis path again. And as you can see right here, people are like, oh, we're going to get to like 7 cents and all these, like, yeah, you wish we were going to get to 7 cents, buddy. There's no way you're going to get your hands on Caspa for that price. There's a lot of protection at this level here when they started opening up the futures. This is the exact same model. It's called a gamma squeeze. Going off into a side chain here. So you guys remember when the Bitcoin ETF was happening? BlackRock and everybody, they're buying Bitcoin. And these guys, they do not play games. They're going to go for it and they're going to lock it in. They're going to manipulate the market, right? So what they do is this. They seed the ETFs, so they buy Bitcoin. And then they have Coinbase open up Bitcoin futures. Of course, they're pulling strings with regulation to make sure this can all happen. So obviously, everybody's going long with the leverage trade. And the way that works is just like a short squeeze. A gamma squeeze is the opposite. Every 24 hours, the market makers have to balance that position, and it just creates more buying pressure. So what they did was they insulated their seed money with the Coinbase futures, causing a gamma squeeze, protecting their cash. Because BlackRock's not going to go out on a limb with Bitcoin and then take an L. That would make them look dumb. So they're like, oh yeah, well, we can just manipulate the market. And they did. Caspa, same thing. So we actually called out 10x leverage trade here on the main channel. And then right here, remember Binance, all of a sudden they start going, hey,
exciting now.
Let's do leverage trading on Caspa with no spot trading. As you know, the United States government kind of took over Binance as they put their hands on CZ. We're going into the deep end of what we can and can't prove. Either way, they created a gamma squeeze. And who is owning Caspa and buying down at these levels? BlackRock, Jane Street, Marathon Digital. They're not going to take an L. They don't roll like that. They only are hanging out with Bitcoin and Caspa. So they've got our back on this one. So there was a gamma squeeze there. Anyway, back to the technical analysis. Following this trend line here, let's bring it into full color. This is the x-axis repeating trend line. It's like the most accurate charting system's been working like a clock on Caspa. We have the y-axis as support, which we're running into. Now, we've wicked out of it before. Even if we wick out of it, or this is like the worst case scenario, like we get into World War III and everything goes bad. Even if we keep falling until December 1st, we're still at above 10 cents because we're using this x-axis trend line. So it's not that bad. This is the angle of downtrend that's been repeating over and over again. But we're not going to get down there because we're going to stop on this repeating trend line support here. And we're going to be moving sideways and then having a breakout. There's also a bit of a falling wedge forming, but we'll get there. Solomon, what's good, my friend? This guy's a Caspa OG. He's been in for a long time. My only fear about Caspa and the others in the top 30 is that the market caps are high compared to Sol and Matic at this stage of the previous bull run. With so many more coins on the market, it's winner takes all now. I understand what you're saying. And everybody's been struggling with this factor in their own trading. Right now, how many of us were thinking a bit more bearish than everything that we've been seeing? In fact, historically, rate cuts, looking at the last time they rate cut on Bitcoin and all throughout the history in the stock market, it's always been bearish. And I'm bringing this up. This was the last rate cut. So we got a rally and then downside, another rate cut here, rally, downside. It's been usually downside. This one's been upside. The halving did take place before this one. That might have something to do with it. But more importantly, the M2 is getting out of control. Just the amount of money printed, the amount of money in circulation floating around there. When we finally see fiat systems completely collapse, you'll start to see in Venezuela, it's like their stock market just goes straight up because everybody's trying to get out of fiat. It's all relative to Bitcoin too, right, Solomon? We've got to keep that in mind. I mean, Bitcoin is performing extremely well. It's going to be at 100,000 very soon. So we've got to keep that all in mind. And the size of this up and coming bull run is going to be even larger. But without a doubt with Caspa, there is some element to what you're saying that the institutional level investors, the investment banks, have packed their bags a bit early, as we can see on these FOMC meetings. Every time they are getting an update on this type of data and they're able to make a decision, this is how they work. We know their entire routine step by step, and we're playing against them in poker. We can see they're just adding massive. So they already have massive bags of Caspa. And it was June 1st back here. This was the start of a bond auction, which is something that we do in VIP. We actually monitor to the day, to the dollar, when they're selling varied treasury bonds from the 52-week to the 48-week to the 2-year. And they actually just opened up the books to start with bond sales, which means the institutional investment bankers have their checkbooks out, and all of a sudden Caspa goes, woof, jumps to the upside, paralleling with those dates. Right now, there's a big bond sale happening on Monday, but it's the final round of bond sales. Another key factor to think about is when this bull run is going to start, because the Fed delayed rate cuts. It's going to be starting a bit later. Everybody's using this 500-day model, which we can completely debunk just by looking at Tesla or GameStop. You can see, well, they were running up at the exact same time as Bitcoin, therefore correlating that massive upside to the bond market. the halving effect is a secondary catalyst that Satoshi weaved in with the global liquidity cycle. We're talking GameStop phenomenon happens 30 days aside from the Bitcoin peak. It's not just a coincidence. It can all tailor back to these bonds. There's some more to Solomon's question here too. There's a lot of new listing cryptos coming out. And part of what we've got to do when we're vetting these projects is separate the winners from the losers, the ones that are going to actually have real world use case. Like Caspa. Caspa's an anomaly with its block DAG structure. It's one of a kind. It's revolutionizing crypto. So we already know how unique Caspa is, but with all the other up and comers using this for the artificial intelligence sector, we've got Tau, and there's only some of them that are really going to get involved with the bigger, larger products. And in order to hone in who the big winners are going to be, step 13, finding their strategic partners and doing a deep dive vet into that. And you can get more clues into that when you deep dive the team in a certain aspect as well. Spectral is going to definitely have real world use cases because Spectral is going to be operating within the crypto sector. It can start to even come up with wallet solutions. Like everybody's like, remember when you're sending crypto, you're like, dude, I hope this actually shows up on the other side, right? And you usually start with $100 and then you do 1,000. They can come up with solutions using artificial intelligence that streamline that. Windows that are like, yes, when you press this button, this amount will show up in this wallet, making it more user friendly. That's just one of the many things Spectral has the ability to do. Last night, we just started to chart this. We can see the first repeating trend line. And when we popped another one up, as soon as we crossed it, boom, we got a nice jump in price. This is a beast. So one of the concepts that we took from Warren Buffett and have really adapted into crypto is not over diversifying. Here's one of the many issues with over diversifying. Like Solomon was saying, there are loads of cryptos out there. And oftentimes we can get stuck or hung up in ones that have a false narrative. The teams are trying to set a trap, making a project look really clever. A great example of that is Alphium. How many of us have heard about Alphium or vetted it? When you actually crunch a deep dive in Alphium, it's basically a meme coin because it's never going to have any actual real world use. Yes, it has technology. Yeah, it's doing something new. Yeah, it has dApps, but those dApps are window dressing. There's only like $50 worth of volume in all of their dApps, whether it's LP staking or NFTs. So they're using the technology as a form of meme coin, which is another reason why meme coins got so popular in the first place. Most crypto projects are just an extension of Alphium. They're a new technology. They're going to ride the Bitcoin halving cycle. They're going to soak up some of Satoshi's secret bond money right alongside Bitcoin. But at the end of the day, they're just a cute picture on chain because they're a new technology that, while it could be innovative and groundbreaking, isn't going to have any real world use. And that's something that we talk about in the training videos on how to use the 24-point checklist system. Separating the meme coin technology ones from the ones that are actually going to get their hands on use. And with the KII using Caspa, I mean, there you go. The white paper for the Gigawatt coin, which is going to be huge as BRICS Nation is moving away from the dollar. What's their biggest issue? Well, what are they going to price oil with? Ounces of gold? Here's the issue. How much is an ounce of gold worth? Because it's measured to dollars. You see what I'm saying? So it's a giant loop of once you remove the US dollar, and this is one of the reasons why it's so wedged in there, you can't value anything. That's why they're starting to incorporate energy combined with real world assets. And this is something that whatever Brics is doing, I just read 30 pages on Brics and how they're getting ready to move away from de-dollarization. And they're basically doing exactly what the KII is with Gigawatt. We are getting an exclusive white paper of the Gigawatt coin inside our VIP. And then we're handing it out to the homies and telling the guys like Galaxy, yo, give a shout out to the KII and get your hands on this. He can do his own material on it, because once we launch these videos on Gigawatt, this will be the next up and coming narrative. All the AI bloggers, they'll just watch the videos and make articles about it, like Captain Altcoin. A bunch of his blogs on Caspa are just my videos in a text form. It's weird. Anyway, it's going to be a massive catalyst coming very soon. Once they land in the airplane that they're traveling in, I just talked to them last night. They're going to send us the Gigawatt white paper. So that's going to be huge for Caspa. And I'm like, dude, we need something right now. Word up. Yeah, so CG and I, dude, this is a great time for a history lesson. Solomon knows all about this, right, buddy? Way back in the day, back when it was like me, Solomon, and CG, and Crypto John, who I completely don't like, but he did come up with Moonwell. I've been watching his show, and he came up with Moonwell, which is one of our picks. We put it on the radar here in VIP when we launched our watch list of AI and DeFi projects. We started looking for purchases here. One of the guys that was in the comments earlier and some other people scooped up huge bags of this at 30. So that's a double up. And now, and running, a double up and running. Plus, I mean, if you want to be a smart guy, you could have got it anywhere here, including here. You know, there's a bit of human error. We are trying to find a swing low at 22 cents. Hindsight's always 20/20. We should have just bought it. Dude, that would have been sick, right? And that's huge upside. Huge. So there's a bunch of picks that could get you exactly even with gains on Caspa from the bottom of the cup when Solomon, CG, and everybody was buying it. This is the thing that I got to tell you guys about.
Exciting now.
Dude, everybody hated Caspa. Not like they hate it now, passionately. Despised it back here. It was everywhere on the internet. Content creators that you'd never heard of were stepping up to take pop shots at Caspa. And so we really clicked up and we would like have chats. And I remember getting insight from Solomon too, putting it all together to hold the line. And it just worked beautifully as the Y-axis support that originated. This is just some repeating trendline stuff. Started off here. So we had cloned this and we were always looking for a second variation. This symmetrical triangle was obviously going to break to the downside because that's when the FOMC was cutting rates. Or raising rates, excuse me. And that's the bat signal. They're saying, yo, get your money out of crypto. And what actually happened was Jane Street sold all of their legacy projects, their AVAX, their ICP right here. This massive downside. Doing exactly what the central banks told them. When they say jump, they work hand in hand. They're splitting the booty up together. They're at the poker table with us. So are the teams. So are the miners. I've been thinking about that. One of the other reasons why Caspa may be getting some more down pressure now is now the miners are making more cash. So hobbyist miners might be cashing out, trying to break even. But either way, we're getting to the end of the road, finding support major support very soon. And there's a big apex on October 30th. Quant is something that originally when we started the channel, before we entered into this big AVAX short here, leading up to it, we were shorting Quant. There was a massive narrative. If you go through the old videos on Quant that we have, you can find it. Something went wrong. I can't remember it off the top of my head right now, but something bad happened with Quant. Like they were basically like it wasn't going down anymore. From a technical analysis standpoint, and we despise naked TA. I'm not trying to be like, what's that guy, Crypto Mindset, who only does shapes and sizes on the chart. Always, always back up your technical analysis with fundamental research and then play out the scenario you're discussing fundamentally with the TA. That's what we do inside VIP. That's the best practice. So for all you chart heads out there, take a step back. And here's the missing link. It's this. This is what you should be incorporating into your charts. This is the fundamentals that you weren't using, that you got to weave in. So here's another secret about Quant. So they were founded by the exact same company that founded Caspa. This is Yes Capital, and you can see right here, Quant and Caspa. They're side by side. This is supposed to be bank to bank. Once the warp core starts for Caspa, in my opinion, based on the research I've done with Quant and Caspa, Caspa is just Quant 2.0. They just can't keep up. It's over. Quant, dead in the water. It's just the use case is over. So this is an absolute no for me. And the chart is even scarier. Just this massive descending triangle. This is not looking good. And it goes with the narrative that is just not happening anymore. This bank-to-bank stuff is very selective. Is Quant even ISO 222 certified? My guess is no, based on the research that I've done on ISO 222, XRP, Maker. There's a few projects that are specifically about supply chain management and bank to bank that got certified for ISO 220, which you need to have. You need to be certified to operate and get actual real world use case. This is one of those Alphiums. It's just a meme coin on chain, but instead of a JPEG, it's some fancy new technology. And what they did when they had the last bull market is they ran Quant and they got loads of data. Data's the new gold, and they use that to make the money. Quant is not looking good. I would not buy that. And I would honestly also try to get something else with that cash. Anything. Even though you're taking an L, just do some good accounting and you can book the loss against your wins. Maybe do a swing trade. Here's a great idea off the top of my head. Swing trade Moonwell, about to break to the upside, and then you can have both of them on your taxes for in this year, the losses canceling out the gains, and you get a free roll, getting your cash back. Yeah, I wouldn't go with Quant. So when we're dealing with price all the time, and you guys in VIP know we always talk about this, instead of going with money, which is the x-axis, we go with the y-axis, which is dates, because we're able to get a much more accurate. And of course, using the repeating trendline system, we can now gauge the price based on the accurate date that we can provide for when the upside will stop. For starters, you know how in VIP we have this repeating falling wedge on the altcoin chart right here. So this is a key date. As you can see on the last one, after we reach that apex, then we start to get some upside. So we are projecting some downside and sideways motion until we get past October 30th. Then we can get some real upside. It just so happens that's running parallel with what key dates? the next FOMC meeting and the election running side by side. So we should start to move laterally by November 1st, if not now. Start moving away from this x-axis repeating downtrend. You can see it in black here. It just constantly keeps reappearing, the same downtrend. The issue with this, and why we knew inside VIP from a technical analysis standpoint why it would be so bearish, look at the width of the gravitational field. That's the farthest distance the channel, the price has moved away from this downward price channel, and it hasn't broken out. Starting up here, so we knew just by cloning the x-axis and putting it here, looking at these old posts, this is how accurate this system is. Here's one of them. Looking at these old posts, we always knew price was going to bounce off that wall and come back down to the x-axis. So we had originally came up with 12.5 because it makes like a major apex with the wick of the BOJ carry trade. But it seems like the success of the meme coins is making it a bit more bearish. I'm saying November 1st. I mean, in the worst case, we keep following this trend line down. Let's say to November 7th or even the weekend after. Running in with the right shoulder of the last head and shoulder pattern. I mean, we're at 11.5. So worst case scenario, 11.5. We're not going to get very far outside of this y-axis support zone with the repeating trend line system. We've wicked out of it before here. So keeping everything in balance, we could wick out of it here, but we're not going to have price construction underneath here. We'll just stay up. And fundamentally, FOMCs is a driver that can help kick that off and get that going. There's a pattern within inside the FOMCs for Caspa in terms of it's counting the days of downside just to go off. It's like 90 or 120 days. I've done this before in detail. So each one of these downward price channels, it's approximately, 90 to 120 days. So we've got, since this last rally, a certain amount of days to the downside, and then Caspa starts wicking back up. There's a lot of different models that are all lining up with the end is near. The bottom is close. And it always gets panicky like this. There was massive hate back here. Everybody was like, no, Caspa's not going up. It's going to go way below a cent. Everyone in the world said that. Son of a Tech sold his Caspa on the day I bought it. That's how big the narrative was. People were panicking right here, saying definitely 7 cents, probably 5. Same thing here. Panicking again, going to 7 cents. I mean, we're not going under 10. I mean, 11.5 is pretty serious. Who's buying this? Investment bankers. They're at the poker table with us. They have a massive interest in Caspa. So, yeah, don't sweat it. Everybody's getting nervous, but we'll have some good news with the white paper coming out soon. Exactly. Moonwell is going to do what Aerodrome did. It's going to be a good, juicy runner. I was tempted to pig pile into Moonwell, but I just went with Spectral. Spectral is so beastie. This still hasn't seen any massive upside because it's a new listing. And looking at this chart without any drawings on it, I mean, just look at that. All of these rounded bottom cup and handle type patterns forming a larger cup. So its initial pattern right out the back is this beautiful rounded bottom, which is a very bullish pattern. Statistically, this is something that we have details of inside of the VIP. We have, when you buy a book on charting, which everybody should own a charting book if you don't already, You're better off getting into VIP because we have the pattern directory with videos. These are the exact same patterns with the statistics that you're going to get from inside any charting book, but they're with charts that you've actually been watching, charts that you've been getting into. So it's a way better tool than one of those dusty old books. Yeah, don't sweat the Caspa. We're getting close to confirmation of breakout too. We need to start getting on top of this X-axis trend line. We don't want to be going underneath it like here. This, in my opinion, is the last check back. There might be one more bounce underneath this X-axis. We need to start forming price materializing on the right-hand side of it. That's the first sign of a bull breakout. And then we need to start using this Y-axis as support. These are steps 1 and 2 of confirming a breakout. And of course, like always, we'll give the leverage trade call out on when Caspa is going to go flying like we always do. Like back here, 12.25 and 13.3, 10x leverage. Exactly. It's exactly true. This is the market. It's built on top of other people's losses. It's very important to trust the data. Stick with your research and roll with it. In Caspa, it's too easy to stay bullish because of its connections with BlackRock and Marathon Digital. It's just a real anomaly in the crypto world. About whale manipulation, I've been hearing tons of people saying that across the board. What we're looking at the poker table of the people we're sitting with. We're all playing a zero-sum game together. Retail, central banks, investment banking class, the crypto teams, the miners, and the whales. We're all sitting at the same table. It's the teams that are minting these KRC20 meme coins that are selling. These guys have no obligation to invest in Caspa. They probably don't even own a crypto bag. They're probably selling all the Caspa that got minted and investing in real estate. There is no correlation to the KRC20 meme coins and Caspa investments. As soon as people minted that Caspa, it's not like they're holding it for them for later. They are selling it and buying a Ferrari right now. That's how we knew inside of VIP. It's a very easy catalyst to understand. That's how we knew it was always going to be down. And look at when the downside started. Boom, you start giving these guys Caspa, they're going to sell it. That's what's causing it. Jesus coin. Let's take a look at this one. With the shades, 89 on the watch list. Market cap NA, volumes low. Here's the issue with the volume. Okay. And this is, yeah. So here's your issue with the volume. For one, there's a lot of volume here. This is team selling, and now it's really low. If you buy $2,000 worth of this, that's 1/100th of the total volume. That's the maximum that you can get sanely. You don't want to start buying $10,000 worth of something that has 200K in volume every day. That's just a recipe for disaster. Make sense? The volume's too low on this. What I would do with Jesus, if you want to trade this, I'll give you some insight. So we have this new listing method, and there's a bunch of different ways that you can follow Jesus Coin on Twitter and get in their Discord for one. And what you're waiting for is you already know the answer, the new listings. So as soon as you hear about the new listing, you don't have to wait until it starts on that exchange. Buy it right now on Uniswap when you hear about it. So there's no need to trap your capital in there. Wait until they're about to get on. They'll probably go to MEXC next or even Bitmart, but you're going to need more listings for this to do anything. Excellent question. We're going to break down the entire price model, the whole thing, how we come up with this. Using a couple of tools. We're going to use the market cap of website just as our calculator. And then this. So the M2 and the bonds have something to do with this. So what we're looking at here is the previous all-time highs of the last cycle top. Looking at the total 3 and Bitcoin, we can see the February 20th date directly aligns with their cutting rates. So a year later, all of that monopoly money is now out on the street. It's stimulating the economy. Bitcoin's rocketing. Tesla's rocketing. The GameStop trade is up and running. That's what we are actually in, is GameStop. And we were in there. This is an add-on that we did 10 days before it massively rocketed. It all happened right around here, coming off the bond market rate cuts. Looking into the forward market, for one, instead of 500 days after the halving around October of 2025, let's push it back a bit. Let's say around December. That's when Bitcoin's going to really start to peak. And by charting Bitcoin and knowing where we're at there, it'll give us a lot of insight into when the top of Caspa is as well. Most of us already have our bags packed, so it's like, hey, when to sell is part of this equation too, and part of the formula. So using the repeating trendline system, this doesn't apply to stocks because stocks don't have halving and emission schedules. Like we were looking on the Caspa chart with all of these repeating trend lines, we can see this again on Tau almost to a frighteningly accurate stage, and on Bitcoin. So you can see this repeating trend line here bouncing off all the bottoms. It actually just reappeared here until we broke above it. Actually, when we zoom in, there's more accuracy. Anyway, looking at these two broadening wedge patterns, these are from right around the rate cut and the halving cycle from 4 years ago. Here's the rate cuts. Here's the halving. Rate cuts, halving, broadening wedge. Here we go again. Rate cuts, halving. This is the same exact broadening wedge. We can see this wedge acted as resistance right around the Bitcoin chart. Following this one up, we can see around those dates where we're going to see the peak come from the bond unlock a year after Powell started cutting rates. So we want to follow this up to December of 2025. We're somewhere between 120 and 150,000 on Bitcoin. That's where this trend line's guiding us. At $150,000 Bitcoin in December of 2025, that's a $3 trillion market cap. Now, what we're looking at here is, these are the all-time highs. So this isn't going to be from the run-up phase, which is what we just looked at. This is the distribution and the peak of it. So that's February 20th. That's when Tesla, the GameStop phenomenon, and Bitcoin first hit 60,000. As we can see, altcoins, they have to get developed and built on chain in order to hit their full top. So while Bitcoin's peaking at 150K, Caspa will be delayed on the calendar by somewhere from 90 to 120 days to even 6 months. We know, going down a side avenue, we know that the bull market is over as soon as the Fed starts raising rates. Right here. Look at this. November, that's when they bump the rates up from zero free money. They start jumping it up to 25 points. And this is November 2022. As soon as the Fed gives them the signal, November, right? As soon as the Fed starts raising rates, everything starts going down. We can see this with the local swing high here. June of 2022. June of 2022. So that's showing all of that cash getting into the bonds. So keep your eye on the bond market the entire time. Back to the price. These are the leading altcoins and how much percentage of Bitcoin they absorbed. XRP, 10%. BNB, 10%. Cardano, 9%, all the way down to Litecoin and Matic. So when we get Bitcoin at 3 trillion, in the worst case scenario where Caspa is able to capture the same market share of Bitcoin's action that Litecoin did, that would be 60 billion, which would put it equal with just above Polkadot last cycle, market cap wise. So we can see that calculation right here. So that's the low range. This is where we're only capturing 2% of Bitcoin's overall market cap. Can Caspa do more than that? Absolutely. What are some of the fundamental factors that are going to be behind that? Smart contracts. Obviously, I've been having detailed conversations with the KII for the past week now. They're getting ready to give us the goods with the white paper on gigawatts. We've been talking about smart contracts. Now, there's a lot that they can do until the smart contracts get released with the inscriptions. And they're also talking about connecting to the Ethereum virtual machine first. I'm going to get more information from them about when smart contracts are going to get released. But in the scenario where they release the Caspa native smart contract, this bull run, obviously 2% is to the downside. We're looking at something much closer to 5 to 7 of 3 million. That starts putting you more at $100 billion market cap for Caspa. And then you can do the adjustments there. BNB. So this is the entire model, including calendar dates in connection with the bond market. 4. Get up to 100 million and it's 4. And that would be about 5% of Bitcoin's market cap. This is the going rate on altcoins. This isn't some unique anomaly that Caspa's setting. Now, could there be a factor that Bitcoin's dominance will be higher? There could be. We could adjust those down, maybe 30%, 40%, because Bitcoin's dominance will be higher. But this is the entire price model that you need to build. And to take it a step farther, you've got to start correlating it with this FOMC data. The perfect storm, Powell's going to cut rates heavy and hard in Q1 of 2025. So the board's already planning on 1 full point for 2025. What we don't want to see as traders, because it's going to make it more difficult for us to trade in a more gradual bull run, we don't want to see them spread that out. We want to see them cut rates fast and hard soon. And there are some lagging indicators in the wage market that cover that. And we explore this in VIP. I know what you're thinking right now. Why do we need to study the FOMC? This isn't stocks. They don't even have jobs. This is going to help us get insight into what the Fed is going to do when they're going to cut rates. So let's say the bull market's on, it's running, Caspa's at $2, still going strong. Do we want to cash out now or let it keep going? Obviously, DCAing is part of our strategy. But from looking into, at that point in time, you'll want to look into warehouse prices, which is like a wage growth that has to do with inflation, because the Fed will stimulate the economy with these bonds rates low, forcing capital onto the street until it affects inflation. And some of the lagging indicators there are like warehouse prices and a bunch of other supply chain metrics. So by knowing how to study into this, we can get insight and then be like, you know what? Probably getting close to selling time because the warehouse prices are going up. The Fed's going to get ready to cut rates soon before they even step up and do it. All of this super important. The peak for Caspa, when and how high, has not even unfolded yet because we still need massive amounts of data, not just from the team, not just from Jonathan Saplinsky, not just from the KII with the gigawatts. We also need more information from the Fed. We need to know what they're going to do with rates and how fast they're going to cut them. This will continue to shape the bull market. So that's the whole price prediction. You see, it's not just as simple as saying this. It's a whole model, and it's breathing and it's moving as we go along with the FOMC, which is the biggest missing piece that everybody in crypto, this is why these guys are getting wrecked all the time. This is why they can't gem hunt anymore. The reason why all their methods and tactics are no longer working is because they created a system based on the best ideal conditions. Like growing mushrooms when you're in the middle of a jungle, and now they're in the middle of a desert, and they're like, oh yeah, you just put them in the jar and seal the lid. And they're like, I don't know, you dropped the jar, something's wrong with the jar. No. This was the perfect monetary conditions for growth. They were printing cash with a zero on the rates, plus a massive decline here. It was the perfect storm. We're getting another bigger one, and Powell's engineered this soft landing into it. So we're trading around that right now. And this is part of the reasons why we're seeing Solomon's question earlier. Have you noticed how big the market caps are on everything? Part of the Fed's plan for the soft landing, without a doubt. So what we do and what we coach people inside of VIP is a time diversification strategy. So you're showing up new to the market right now. For my scenario, it was 400, 500 days ago. Find the absolute best project that you can get the best value in, that's going to perform the strongest in the three phases. You've got the run-up phase, and the distribution phase, and then the sell-off, like we just correlated to the bond market. If you came in with the exact same amount of cash that I had invested in Caspa 400 days ago, but you got some of our picks from inside of VIP, let's say that you just got DEAI at the last post, which was during an exchange listing around 17 cents. Let's say that you were like, okay, cool, and you got it at 15, you'd have the same size gains, the same bag of my Caspa bag right now. And so obviously, using the capital that we have at our disposal, we're creating side bags, not in a diversified manner, because this is going to create massive problems. For one, when it's time to start selling, you want big bags of the best projects. And we've already proven to a T, we can find the best projects. We've got a watch list inside VIP, 2 of them. The one for 10 million market cap and up, there's 8 projects on the list. 5 of them are in the top 120 for the past 30 days. That's out of 10,000. That's including every no-name meme coin random project that exists. So if we are able to suddenly filter out all the meme coin goofiness, our projects are like the best. How do we do it? Part of it is this insight into the FOMC. And then also our vetting system. This is gold, you guys. It's working better than anything else. Coming over from the stock market, different angle, different perspective. So instead of spreading the money out, focusing on the best project. Right now, for me in VIP, I'm going with Spectral. You could also go with Moonwell. as we've been getting people in and posting on Moonwell for a while. On the radar here, started trying to buy it here, and then we scooped up a nice bag here at 30. There are guys with huge cash that bought $50,000 worth of Moonwell.
Exciting now.
At 30 cents, and now they're already going to make $1 million. That's $1 million bag. Congratulations. DEAI, same thing. The reason why I'm personally pigging out on Spectral is because it's a new listing. I like to chart, and if you're going to put some capital in these, buy the reports. Because it's not just the report on Spectral. You get the report on Spectral and DEAI and Aether and Desync covering AI, and you put them all side by side. You got to know all the details that we found. Do your own research first and then compare it to the system that we have, and you'll start filling in some of the blanks. Pigging out on Spectral now, and here's the secret sauce. There's going to be another wave in a different sector coming up early next year. Absolutely. And we're focusing and honing in on that soon inside VIP, doing a new watch list. Instead of on AI and DeFi, a new watch list into new sectors that run late. Remember how everybody was doing GameFi? Like 400 days ago? That's not considering all these macroeconomic factors. GameFi blooms late. Therefore, the poker players at our table invest in it late. First going for layer ones, and then these strong altcoins like AI and DeFi. And it will, in my opinion, absolutely. Bitcoin is going to completely rocket. This is the factor that we have not calculated, is the popularity of crypto. How many people that are in chat actually saw a bull run last cycle? Like, was anybody actually up in one? Because they get out of control. Let me show you. They start coming up with these plug and play miners. This one's for Helium, which is out of all of them, the only project that survived. This is for M2. All this ended up being, they later debunked it, is just a giant Ponzi scheme using these walkie-talkies that were allegedly hooking up to all your smart washer and dryer, your smart refrigerator, and relaying data. That was a total, it was a total sham. The bull market's going to completely change everything. And by deep diving into the IDO sector, we can start to see what's up and coming, what's going to be ripping, what's going to be rocking. Projects like Open, designing everything on, this is like a mid-journey of artificial intelligence. So you're like, yeah, make me a samurai chick with Bitcoin for eyeballs. And then it will make you a hoodie or a souvenir mug. Like the crypto gem somebody mentioned earlier, just like GPT-360, a lot of them are integrating with social media, Twitter, getting ready to do that stuff. But as you vet them side by side, there's only a few that are the standout best ones. The rest of them are just Alphium. They're just a meme coin of technology on chain. That's all they are. They're not getting real world use case. And back to this gem hunting thing that has been almost a lost art. When you really get into gem hunting, as we've proven, you can find these, the ones that are actually going to get used. And obviously a lot of it's use on chain, use in crypto, like Spectral and DEAI. Oh yeah. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. I don't understand the question, but yeah, I'm also picking out on Spectral. I like that. Our original buy, we started loading up. This was one of our BOJ carry trade wicks. So during the Bank of Japan carry trade, we were like, yeah, we definitely want to get some of this when it was down this low. Then the other trade that we got Matrix Fire, super rocketing to the upside. Yeah, no, we've got a full 24-point report on Spectral. So you can get your hands on that, and it's important to understand everything that's going on, the roadmap, and it can help us with selling and everything like that, just to fully grasp the project, wrap our head around it. This is one, Spectral, that definitely has some sort of connection to JD Vance because he used to work under Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel, the PayPal mob, Silicon Valley. These are the exact guys that are investing in Spectral right now. Silicon Valley is building on Spectral to provide product suites to release to retail later down their roadmap. This is just super early. Super early. Kubrick is no good. A lot of people have seen that. It's extremely advertised. They're very much concealing a lot of crucial information. They're very much trying to keep data in the shadows, which is an immediate red flag for me, on top of the amount that they're advertising. You can see advertisements for Kubrick all over this pop-up screen right here. Kubrick. Like, I've seen it so many times that I immediately hated it just from the ads. So yeah, and then you start reading into the white paper. You can figure out that Kubrick isn't good if you read 5 white papers side by side. This is not going to be fun, and this is why our VIP group isn't for everybody. Somebody said limited receipt on Spectral. I'm like, you must not be in the group, because we have a 9-page report on it with links. And then all of its peer group like DEAI and Spectral, they're competing in the same niche with TARS and TAO. So we've got all these reports side by side. It's like a 50-page receipt on Spectral. So I'm not really sure what you mean by not showing receipts. Oh, exactly what Warren Buffett would be saying right now. When everybody's getting greedy, be fearful. When everybody's getting fearful, start getting greedy. Back when everybody was pigging out on KRC20, we were like, nope. And now we're like, yes. This was always going to happen. This was always in the blueprint for Caspa. And now the low is here and everybody's chickening out. God bless them. This is what builds the market. It's other people's misfortunes. It's a very mean place. And we are one of the first channels, make sure you guys hit subscribe if you haven't, that actually started instigating with other creators, because they were doing this kumbaya consensus bias garbage 400 days ago with GameFi. And they were all copying CG. He was the first guy to come up with GFAL. And now they're all like, oh yeah, GFAL. Lit Labs, Hello Labs, these all rug pulled. But every single content creator in the Caspa niche, these guys were all like, these are the best, get them now. And I was like, oh my God, somebody needs to start a fight with these guys. So, you know, we've been calling them out. And dude, how can they compete in this sector, right? That's why they don't post in Caspa anymore. They ran to the Memecoins. They can't compete. They don't have a deep enough understanding. They got to stay in JPEG world. But I want you guys to be able to fully grasp crypto, to be able to put together and understand these trades. It's pretty amazing that we've got, out of a list of 8 here, 5 of them in the top 120. There's 01, Spectral, they're all up here. There's Moonwell. And these are these are the ones that we like. These are the ones we vetted. Spectral. This is going to be a beast. Hasn't even hatched yet. So a lot to learn, not for everybody. Make sure you're ready to do some reading and do your own research. It's a do your own research guide. We can study crypto for 40 hardcore straight hours in a row, and you learned nothing that will help you become a better trader. This is going to keep you on target. making sure you're reading stuff that has to do with price. That's the thing. All right, guys. We'll be waiting on this white paper from the KII for Gigawatt. And that will be the breaking story. And we'll start to get some more bullish momentum about Caspa in social media. Don't worry about everybody who's jealous. Don't worry about all the haters who are wishing, that they could get Caspa cheaper. They're not going to get that opportunity. This is the swing low. This is exactly what we projected. We literally, to an actual number, had projected this coming for Caspa. Right here. We had originally thought parallel with the BOJ carry trade, boom, 12.25. We're right in range. And there's obviously variation because if you adjust these lines by just a half a degree, it changes by a half a cent. We're right on target for our prediction. We're right there. And instead of the BOJ, it'll be like this right shoulder maybe. Exactly. All right, guys. Thanks for checking out this video. Remember, sectors that are moving right now. Later, there's a bunch of projects that are super cheap, like GameFi and ZK Rollup, Myria, right? These are going to be later bloomers in the market cycle. We can get these on super discount right now. So join in the gem hunt and start looking for other sectors that aren't banging right now, but will later, so we can scoop these up on the low. Like when we originally had put well on the radar, knowing that it was going to be a runner soon, we're going to get a whole new batch, a whole new watch list on the radar for ZK Rollup and GameFi. And that's going to be epic. So we'll catch you guys on the next one.